So first I will be covering about gram negative bacilli. Okay, so whenever you get a culture report which is showing positive gram negative bacilli, right? So what all things which you must remember is that first you have to see what is the organism and also see which site has tested positive. Then you have to look at the beta-lactam pattern. That is the most important thing. That includes the penicillin, the cephalosporins, the piperacillin, then the carbapenems. That is the most important thing because they are the cornerstone of management of gram-negative bacilli. In that beta-lactam pattern, if the resistance pattern is there, then you also see the carbapenem status, and then you have to see little clue drugs sensitivity, which is actually not used clinically, but they are always given in the reports, and there is a reason behind why they are given in the reports. We'll be discussing that, and from that you have to understand what could be the most likely mechanism, and then according to that you will choose the drugs. So just before going on to different reports, this is just an overall overview of GNB resistance. So these are the main beta-lactamase in the Enterobacteriaceae family, and this classification is known as Ambler's classification, and it has got four classes: Class A, B, C, and D. Class A is serine beta-lactamase. Okay, in that we have penicillinase, which are common, and these penicillins includes TEM and SHB, right? So if we see here, then these are uh, enzymes which give resistance to penicillins and first generation cephalosporins, right? Then we have the next generation of beta lactamase, that is called extended spectrum beta lactamase, or in short form we call it as ESBL. In that also we have TEM, SHV, but different numbers, and CTXM, right? And in that you will be seeing that there is resistance to second and third generation cephalosporin, and sometimes to fourth generation cephalosporin as well. And then in the last we have the uh, carbapenemase production. In this class A we call it as KPC, and they give resistance to carbapenems as well as other beta lactams. In the class B we have metallo-beta lactamase. So these beta lactamase, they need metals for their activity. That is why it is called beta lactamase. Common ones are VIM, IMP, and NDMs. NDM stands for New Delhi metallo beta lactamase, a very famous enzyme and very common in India. Right. So we don't have this penicillins and ESBLs here. In class C we have cephalosporinase. In this class C we have majorly MC mechanism of resistance. Okay, so in that you have non-inducible, inducible, and de-repressed, and then you will have plasmic MC as well. Okay, so they give resistance to different types. Like in inducible MC, you will see penicillin, some first generations, cephalosporin. In de-repressed, you will see second, third, and fourth generations. Right, and lastly, you have class D oxacylinase, where you have narrow spectrum oxa, ESBL oxa, and carbapenemase oxa in the form of oxa 48 and others. Right. So this is the overview. You have initially penicillinase, then you have ESBLs, and then you have ESBLs and MC, and then you have carbapenemase. All right. Okay, so let's go directly to a culture report. So this is a female patient presenting with clinical symptoms consistent with pyelonephritis, and her urine culture is growing Enterobacter cloacae. Okay, so this is Enterobacteriaceae family, and the resistance pattern shows that there is resistance to ampicillin, cefazolin, cefoxitin, ceftriaxone, ciprofloxacin, and susceptibility to cefepime, gentamicin, meropenem, trimethoprim, sulfamethoxazole. Okay, there is no comment about piperacillin tazobactam. Okay, there might be some reason behind it. So, what could be the most likely mechanism of resistance? ESBLs, KPC, MC, or any other? So, if we look at the culture report, we see that there is resistance to ampicillin, there is resistance to ceftriaxone, which is third generation cephalosporin, but there is sensitivity to cefepime, which is fourth generation cephalosporin. This is a very important clue, that sensitivity to cefepime. Another important clue is sensitivity to meropenem. If it is sensitive to meropenem, that means we are not uh, talking about carbapenemase here. Okay. So amongst the three options, KPC is a carbapenemase, so that is ruled out. Okay. So and now we have one option ESBL and second is MC. And here the answer is MC, that is Enterobacter cloacis MC, because MC producer are reliably resistant to cefoxitin. Okay, so we see here that there is cefoxitin resistant, and cefepime as an antibiotic can overcome inactivation by MC and activity is retained. That is a very important another thing. So cefepime sensitivity, cefoxitin resistance give you one hint that this could be an MC. And another very important hint is that MC is usually produced by this MCHES and organisms, which is Aeromonas, Morganella, Pseudomonas, Citrobacter fruendi, Hafnia, Enterobacter, and Serratia. Right. So this is very very important. That why so if you have an enterobacter which is showing cefepime sensitivity, cefoxitin resistant, that is purely MC. So in MC, we initially also saw that there is inducible, repressed, and de-repressed types of phenotypic expressions of MC. What is these expression? Inducible means that as such MC resistance lie low, but when there is presence of beta-lactam antibiotic, then it gets activated and it starts its work of doing hurt to the this is cephalosporin especially, right? So this is inducible. So normally they are not working, but when they see a beta-lactam, then their activity increases multifold. Then repressed one is that their activity is low and they remain off as well. Okay, so this we see in E. coli, and de-repressed is that their activity remains permanently high because of spontaneous mutation. This is also seen in Enterobacter and Pseudomonas aeruginosa. So preferred treatment for MC producer is 4th generation cephalosporin, that is cefepime, and if that is not working clinically, then you can also go for a carbapenem, meropenem or